And good evening, everybody, and welcome here to Arizona Speedway as we get ready for race number 26 of Season 6 of the Mobil1 Cup Series. Now, this is not any ordinary race. This is our final race of the regular season, and after this evening's event is over, we will know the 13 drivers that are going to be in this season's chase for the Mobil1 Cup Series Championship. We've already set the field for the Oreo Truck Series Chase. It's time to find out now who's going to be in the Mobil1 Cup Series Chase for the championship at the end of this 27-lap event. Already we know some of the drivers that are going to be in there. We know a total of 7 drivers that are going to actually mathematically be eligible for battling out for the championship, regardless of where they finish here this evening. One of them includes the Danny Wells car, who actually led the completion of lap number 10 last week at Atlanta. So regardless of where he finishes here tonight, he will be in the chase for the championship. 6 drivers come into this race mathematically unable to fall outside of the top 10 in points, and so they are going to be able to be in the chase regardless of where they finish. They include the points leader Sean Galligan, Emilio Navarrete, Dylan Young, Trent Dunham, Megan Atkins, and Austin LaPlante. The real test is going to be put on these following drivers: James Silverfox, James McLeod, Joshua Collard, Bob Jones, Sean Henley, and Charles Jackson, who come in 7th through 12th in the standings. Right now, they are the only drivers that are mathematically eligible to either fall outside the top 10 in points or move their way inside the top 10 in the standings. So, right now, James Silverfox, who comes into this race 7th in points, he's got 2 wins. So if he falls outside the top 10 in points, the odds are he could get a wild card position. So he's in a pretty good, secure spot. James McLeod, however, and Joshua Collard, and Bob Jones, they are right now currently, it looks like it's 18-16 points ahead of 10th in the standings, Bob Jones. Joshua Collard and Bob Jones, on the other hand, do not have wins. Henley and Charles Jackson, 11th, 12th in points, do. So Bob Jones, Joshua Collard, they're in a rather precarious spot. They need to come away with good runs here tonight in order to stay inside the top 10 in points. Probably the best battle that we're going to see here is going to be rookie Bob Jones versus Sean Henley, because those two, 10th and 11th in points, are separated by only 8 points, with Bob Jones having 589 and Sean Henley having 581. We're also going to be keeping an eye on the possible wild card battle. We know that Dylan Poteet may end up having a wild card position locked up. So he's got 2 wins this season and is 13th in points. The big question is Jordan Hester. He's a 2-time winner this season. He's down 34th in points. If somebody ahead of him in the standings comes away with a second win here tonight, Hester, regardless of his 2 wins, could be out a wild card position. So he's going to have to hope that a driver that has gone to victory lane so far this season will not go to victory lane again, or else they may end up getting a wild card position in this evening's event. On the pole position is going to be Joshua Michaels. Alongside of him, Daniel Day, who is actually a driver who has gone to victory lane this season already. So if he ends up getting a win, he is running ahead of Jordan Hester in the points, and he would get a possible wild card position. Daniel Voiles is going to line up in 3rd place, and alongside of him, one of those drivers trying to race his way inside the top 10 in points, and that is Charles Jackson. And then a runner-up finisher last week to Dylan Young, Zach Rogers, is going to start in the 5th position. He's a former winner, as is the driver that starts alongside of him, Hayden Klein. There you see Dylan Poteet. He could roll off from 13th place. Alongside of him, 10th in points, that critical spot, that is Bob Jones. So he's got himself a qualifying spot ahead of Sean Henley. You see he's going to start 2 rows behind him, back in position number 12. We'll be getting these cars rolling off here now, folks. It's definitely time to get going and find out who's going to make the chase for the championship. We already know, as I said, a total of 7 drivers who are going to definitely be in the chase for the championship. And also we're going to see a driver make his return to the Mobil1 Cup Series. The number 38 was left vacant after Sky Commons announced he was leaving that team at the end of the Atlanta race. Kenny McCurry will be stepping in here for his return to the Mobil1 Cup Series. We'll see how he does in the number 38 car in his first start here in the Mobil1 Cup Series in Season 6. Time to get these cars rolling up, though. Here's your starting lineup for tonight's Caterpillar 300. Getting ready to go under the green flag racing. We'll be keeping an eye on the battle for the lead all night long, but we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on drivers such as McLeod, Collard, Jones, Henley, and Jackson through the course of this evening too, because the most important thing about this racetrack is the fact that it is the leading race into the chase for the championship, and we want to know who is going to make that chase. Green flag is out though, 27 laps await us. Joshua Michaels gets us underway. We had quite a wreckfest in the Oreo Truck Series race, which was to be expected. We'll see if these drivers are going to be able to keep it together here in the Mobil1 Cup Series, or if they're going to start wrecking each other as well. And I hear some scraping back there, and there's the caution. Yep, they went 3 wide back there at one point, and I think that may have been what caused this caution to come out, but Daniel Voiles is going to come out in front. Zach Rogers moves into second. And I'm trying to listen for any scraping off of 4. Doesn't look like anybody wrecked off of 4. But Daniel Voiles leads under the first caution. Let's see who was involved in this one here. And it was Isaac Canepa and Trent Dunham. Trent Dunham already ensured a spot in this season's chase for the championship. And Dylan Young, last week's winner from Atlanta, is on pit road as well. Kyle Corbett is on pit road. There's Richard Johnson, George Roque. Now this is good news for the Jordan Hester machine, because both George Roque and Richard Johnson are former winners this season. If they do not continue, that's 2 drivers that could have gotten up there and won their second race of the season that would have been ahead of Jordan Hester in the point standings. As Daniel Voiles going to lead us under the caution. Looks like nobody's coming to pit road. Let's take a look and see what brought out our first caution of the evening. 2 drivers, Trent Dunham and Dylan Young, 3rd and 4th in points, who were ensured getting into the chase for the championship mathematically, involved in this one. Now let's see what the contact began here. Watch the 12 car of Canepa underneath the 33 of George Roque. Oh wow, contact right there between Eric Burton and Canepa. Just shoots Canepa up the racetrack and into the 33. And there's Richard Johnson. There's where he gets his damage. Corbett runs into the back of him. Oh, and Emilio Navarrete flipped the Corbett machine over. There you see Dylan Young, Trent Dunham, and Megan Atkins, a couple other drivers who are already locked into the chase. But also Emilio Navarrete, 2nd in points, was involved in this, because he flipped over the number 4 machine. And there you saw James McLeod. He made his way through. That's important for the McLeod machine. Whoa! Corbett going to catch the grass, and that's going to spin his car up into the air, and he starts barrel rolling here on the back straightaway. But you see Dunham there. There's Atkins. There's Dylan Young. And there was another car that was involved there too. Oh, there's William Duncan. There's Hester, made his way through. There's Emilio Navarrete right there. I don't know how much damage he got after he flipped the 4 car over. But Navarrete may have given himself some cosmetic damage. I believe it was with the right front as well. He crossed the stripe under caution somewhere around, I think, the 30th position or something like that. Caution's waving for the first time tonight, though. Pretty big wreck over there on the back straightaway. Let's head back now to the green flag. Get ready to go back to green flag racing here on lap 6 of 27. Let's see if anybody retired after everything that went down. Yep, a few drivers did, including Dylan Young. It's a tough break for him after picking up a win last week at Atlanta, finishing dead last. Kyle Corbett, he's out of the race after his barrel roll. Richard Johnson and George Roque have both taken their cars back behind the wall as well. Here's the top 10 as we get ready to go back to green. Daniel Voiles is the leader. Zach Rogers 2nd. 3rd is Joshua Michaels. Dylan Poteet 4th, with Wolfgang Mason 5th. Charles Jackson, who came in 12th in points, trying to get his way into the chase, he's 6th. Daniel Day 7th. Kenny McCrory in his return start, he's up to 8th. Jake Rogers 9th. And Carson Gum is in 10th. Let's find the rest of those 6 drivers that we're looking at here this evening in this event. See what they are running. There's Bob Jones, currently running just ahead of Sean Henley in 14th. Henley back there in 15th. Silver Fox, there he is in 16th place. Collard right there as well in 17th. And then we have to go back a ways before we get to McLeod. Back in the 31st position right now is James. So we might want to actually stick around this area when we get the green flag back around the 14th position, because that's actually the best battle on the racetrack as far as chase positions are concerned. Green flag back out here on lap 6 of 27. We'll see if there's going to be any move for the lead here first. Does not appear to be so. Let's jump back here to the Bob Jones machine. Him and Sean Henley and Joshua Collard and Here comes Collard to the inside of Silver Fox. Almost gets some contact there with Aaron Williams Jr. And Henley's gotten by Bob Jones. Sean Henley moving by the 14, who's caught on the high side. Now Henley, in order to pass Bob Jones. Oh, look out, spin, spin. They all get through it. Poteet was involved in it, though. There's the Poteet machine. Who else was in that? Oh, the leaders. Voiles and Rogers. That must have been right up at the front of the field. Because that was the leaders who crossed the stripe 1-2, and it's turned the lead over to Wolfgang Mason. I'll quickly say, for Henley to get by Bob Jones in the point stands, he has to finish a total of 10 points ahead of him, or 9 points ahead of him, 9 positions ahead of him in the running order. I don't think he did that under this caution, but the leaders just flat out wrecked here, it looked like. Zach Rogers and Daniel Voiles. And Dylan Poteet, who's trying to get a wild card spot, was involved in it as well. And pit stops are going to take place here on lap number 8. So we'll step aside as they're making these pit stops, and we'll come back after the replay. Wow, watch this. This is battle for first, second, third right here between Voiles, Rogers, Poteet. Rogers going to get into the left rear turn, Voiles down the racetrack. Voiles going to make it 3 wide here, and apparently he either overdrove the corner or something, but he's going to slide right up into Zach Rogers, up into Poteet, and there you go. Your first, second, and third place cars are wrecked. Man. And it's a wonder we didn't have more drivers involved. There you see Poteet comes down the racetrack, and that was right around the area where Silver Fox, Collard, Henley, and Bob Jones all were. It's a wonder that he did not take out his Tweenix Racing teammate and a few others that were trying to battle for a spot inside the chase. But there's your leaders. Wrecked, Zach Rogers and Daniel Voiles. What a tough break for them as well as Dylan Poteet. Getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. Joshua Michaels' team was able to get him first off of pit road, so the pole sitter will go back to the lead. Wolfgang Mason, a little bit slower stop, was not able to get out ahead of the 6. He'll restart in second place. Third place is going to be Eric Burton now. Charles Jackson up in 4th. 5th place is going to be Kenny McCurry. You see Dylan Poteet lap down, trying to continue on, salvage what he can. He wants to make sure he finishes ahead of any other driver that could possibly pick up a second win this evening. Charles Jackson could be one of those drivers, actually. Austin LaPlante is in 6th. 7th, Charles Sanford. 8th place is going to be Carson Gum. Sean Henley's worked his way up to 9th now, with Daniel Day in 10th. Let's find the rest of those chasers that we're talking about, trying to get their way into the Chase Championship. 12th place, restarting is Joshua Collard. Silver Fox will restart in 13th place. There's Bob Jones in 17th. Got to go quite a ways back before you get to James McLeod, who has worked his way up now to the 27th position. So, as things stand, I think Bob Jones is still barely ahead of the Sean Henley machine. I think Joshua Collard is still inside the top 10 as well. The question I have is where James McLeod is running. He's running quite a ways back. I think he needs to work his way up beside the top 15 to make sure he's going to stay in the top 10 and be in the chase for the championship. As the green flag is out, Poteet, you see, is a lap down to the leaders. He's on the inside line. Zach Rogers and Daniel Voiles have both gone behind the wall. That is, again, yet another former winner this season, Zach Rogers, who won back at Michigan. That is out of the race. That's a big help to Jordan Hester. And, oh, Kenny McCurry just got turned up at Austin LaPlante, and Kenny is spun. Oh, and then Michaels just got taken out by Eric Burton. And this could be bad for drivers that are trying to make the chase. I saw Henley get through, but I don't know who else may have. Oh, Cody Lemus is upside down. Hayden Klein's involved. Hester is in it. And McLeod is in it. Galligan, the points leader, is involved, and the caution's waving again. There's Wolfgang Mason inheriting the lead again. Cole Daly's on pit road. Tyson Broad's on pit road. Oh, Danny Wells is on pit road. Hadn't talked about him all night with the exception of the fact that he is already in the chase after he led lap 10 last week at Atlanta. But he's involved in this. There's Hayden Klein. There's McLeod. I don't know how bad his damage is. Hester, who's trying to get a wild card spot. This is not going to help his efforts. And there's the guy that was leading, but got flat out turned by Eric Burton when he came back up on the racetrack. There's Sanford damaged. A question I have, are any of the other drivers that are battling for the spot inside the top 10? Bob Jones made it through. There's Silver Fox. He made it through. Jackson made it through. Collard made it through. And Henley did. So they all made it. There's the Austin LaPlante machine, though. Quite a few drivers came in running inside the top 10 that are definitely insured getting inside the chase for the championship. Galligan had some damage and LaPlante had some damage. Caution flag is waving. This was a big one. Started with Kenny McCrory and then spread right up to the battle for the lead between Eric Burton and Joshua Michaels. Let's look back at the replay. We're nearing the halfway point. Well, Kenny McCrory was running really well here in his return to the Mobil1 Cup Series. He was running up here, I believe it was in the 4th position. This was actually a battle for 3rd, 3 wide, with Eric Burton and Wolfgang Mason. And let's see just exactly where the contact's going to begin. I think it's going to be right there. I think LaPlante may get into Kenny McCrory's right rear. 71 right close there, and yeah, he does. Turns him up into Eric Burton. There you see LaPlante. He's going to go up and get Charles Jackson. So Jackson did get some damage out of this. There you see Kenny. He's going to snap around. And I think he's going to come up, and I think it's going to be Sanford that's going to nail him. Right there. And look at Henley. Henley's going to get down underneath as Kenny goes flipping in the number 38. Collard's going to get by. Whoa, Kenny up and into the catch fence there, riding the outside retaining wall. Silver Fox goes through there pretty fast, but he gets through without any damage. And, oh man, Cole Daly hits the Austin LaPlante machine, and then Hayden Klein runs into the back of him. Danny Wells, I think, is just getting involved in that too, right there. I think he hits LaPlante. There you see Cody Lamas. James McLeod's going to get quite a hit in the outside retaining wall in that 34. So his odds of making the chase may be slim now. I don't know. And Cody Lamas going to flip over too. So Kenny McCrory and Cody Lamas both flipping over. There you see Danny Wells, Sean Galligan. Let's rewind it just a little bit here. I think we're going to see how they got involved. Yeah, they hit the Austin LaPlante machine. Let's go to the 71. There we go. And here's going to be the hits that are going to come. There's the first one from Cole Daly. Daly then gets rear-ended by Hayden Klein. Here comes Danny Wells. He actually hits Kenny McCrory. And wait a minute. Galligan, I think, got hit from behind by Jordan Hester. Now, how did this happen? Oh, my goodness. This incident took place even further back after the first incident. Right there. Galligan tries to stick it in the middle between both Danny Wells and Tyson Broad. Those four, including the Hester machine, going to go up and into the wall, and Tyson Broad's car is going to flip up into the air. Look at the height the 32 got. Oh my goodness, and he actually was caught in the catch fence. He remained in the catch fence, did Tyson Broad. Look at this. He's stuck in the catch fence. Oh my goodness gracious sakes. Kenny McCrory flips. Cody Lamas flips. The leader, Joshua Michaels, gets taken out by Eric Burton, and Tyson Broad is literally dangling from the catch fence in the turn 3 area. Okay, I knew that this evening was going to be crazy with the chase on the line for some drivers, but I didn't think it was going to be this wild. Anyway, we got to take a quick look now at the Eric Burton, Joshua Michaels incident, but good gravy train. See here with Burton. Yeah, this was after the contact with Kenny McCrory after LaPlante turned the 38 up into the 54. He's going to run down here through the grass, taking a proverbial shortcut, if you will, but he's going to carry way too much momentum into the corner, and he's going to just completely take out Joshua Michaels. I don't think Michaels going to be appreciating that much because he was running up front. He had made a good pit stop, had started on the pole and all that, and to just get flat out taken out like that. And there you see the contact with Hayden Klein, Cody Lamas, and James McLeod, as well as Cole Daly. That's going to all kind of merge right there with the Eric Burton incident. And Wolfgang Mason, second time this evening, he has actually had the lead turned over to him. He was running in 4th place the first time, took the lead after the 3 leaders wrecked, which at that time were Daniel Boyle, Zach Rogers, and Dylan Poteet. And now, thanks to Eric Burton taking out Joshua Michaels, he takes the lead once more. Let's head back to Green Flag Racing. So we'll go back to green on lap 16 of 27. The field is very quickly dwindling down. I don't know how many we got left here right now. Let's see if we can find out. We got a total of 24 cars still racing out of the original 42. That means that 18 have gone behind the wall, including the following: Joshua Michaels, Hayden Klein, Charles Sanford, Jordan Hester, James McLeod, Eric Burton, Cody Lamas, Austin LaPlante, Kenny McCrory, Cole Daly, Danny Wells, Tyson Broad, joining Zach Rogers, Daniel Voiles, George Roque, Richard Johnson, Kyle Corbett, and Dylan Young. You'll notice that out of those drivers, though, the 6 drivers that we are concentrating on here, as far as them making the chase for the championship, are not in the garage area. Wolfgang Mason is the leader. There's one of the cars we're talking about this evening. Sean Henley is second. Carson Gumbs third. Fourth is Daniel Day. There's another cars we're talking about. Joshua Collard, he's in fifth. Another car right there is Charles Jackson in sixth. Another car right there is James Silverfox in seventh. Then eighth going to be Jake Rogers. Ninth, Ralph Mason, and Aaron Williams Jr. is up to 10th. Bob Jones, he's currently in 13th place right now with where Henley's running. Henley is a total of 9 positions ahead. He's actually 11 spots ahead of Bob Jones. Jones has got some work to do. And where is the James McLeod machine? I think he may have continued. Oh, he didn't continue. McLeod is out. And so that's going to be interesting. Is McLeod going to slip outside the top 10 with DNFing today? Whoa, Henley nearly got turned. Oh, he's almost getting turned by Daniel Day, and he hangs on to it somehow. Daniel Day nearly turning Henley around. That would have ended his chase hopes, no doubt about it. As Charles Jackson is kicked up on the high side there. And, oh, someone's wrecking. Who was it? Oh, it's a lot of cars. Alex May, Bob Jones, 10th in points. Nick Muciola, Alex May, and Aaron Williams Jr. as well, but Bob Jones is involved. And Megan Atkins, who's in shorter spot in the chase, is involved too, but Bob Jones had to be running ahead of the Sean Henley machine, or at least running at least 8 positions behind, not 9, which he currently is now. And now he's got damage to boot. Bob Jones, who was one of 3 rookies this season who really made an impact in the Mobil1 Cup Series as far as running well. It was him, Megan Atkins, and Sky Commons, and I guess Stephen Pollard III before he left also made quite an impact up here in the Mobil1 Cup Series, but Bob Jones may be en route to not making the chase now after getting involved in that incident, and Wolfgang Mason leads one more time under the yellow. Let's look back at yet another replay. Well, this just was, I'm not really sure. I mean, it looked like it was actually settling out pretty well. Drivers were trying to get around the Dylan Pote machine. Then watch right here. Anthony McCrory gets shoved by Deanna Shelton. Then he shoves Alex May right up into Aaron Williams Jr. They all just started pushing each other into the corner. And whoa! Bob Jones up into the wall with Nick Muciola riding the outside retaining wall this time. And there's Atkins getting her damage. I actually think Bob Jones may have actually come away with no damage if he hadn't gotten hit by Megan Atkins, surprisingly enough. And then Galligan sideswipes the Bob Jones machine right there. It's a wonder Galligan didn't flat out drill him. And there you see drivers who were running just outside the top 10. Aaron Williams Jr., I think, had restarted in the 10th position. All wrecked here. But the big story we got to follow is that ride right there, because Sean Henley is running more than 9 positions ahead of Bob Jones right now, and that would displace Bob Jones outside of the top 10 in the current points. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing one more time. This time we'll have a total of 7 laps to go. We've been continually under the caution flag as to be expected, and things are certainly starting to take shape now as far as who may make the chase and who may not. Right now, it is Wolfgang Mason the leader, second Carson Gum, Sean Henley right now in a good position with the damage we just saw Bob Jones sustain to maybe take 10th place in the points. Joshua Collard making a case for himself to stay inside the top 10. Where he's running right now, he would make the chase. He's 4th. James Silverfox running well and has 2 wins. I think we can safely say he has now mathematically made his way into the chase for the Mobil1 Cup Series Championship. Then you got Daniel Day 6th, 7th Jake Rogers, Charles Jackson, the long shot here tonight. He is currently, well, he came into this race a total of 13 points back from Bob Jones, with Henley running better than him in the standings and here on the racetrack. He would have to try and run down Joshua Collard or James McLeod. McLeod, he comes behind 31 points back. I don't think he'd be able to run him down. So right now, Jackson's got to hope Henley runs into trouble, as he'll be 8th. 9th is going to be Qualls, and Ralph Mason is in 10th. Let's look back, try and find if Bob Jones is going to continue. Yes, he is. He's actually starting to try and pick up positions here. Here he is trying to go underneath of Alex May. Whoa, look out, getting held up behind the slower car of Sean Galligan. He's trying to get by Atkins. He's trying to get by Galligan. His car appears to be somewhat up to speed, even though it has no hood. But he's having trouble getting by Galligan. And whoa, Galligan all of a sudden just darted down to the inside. There must have been some aerodynamics there or something. And Bob Jones is going to get around him for that position, but he's got to pick up a lot more spots because the driver he's trying to run down right now is running very well up inside the top 5, Sean Henley. Well, Henley's starting to lose positions though. Oh, and some contact from Carson Gum nearly turned 69. But he's still running well. How about Collard? He does not want to fall outside the top 10 in points. He's running very well now in second. And a couple drivers here that could maybe look at getting a wild card spot. How about Jake Rogers? If he could pick up a second win tonight, he could take that second wild card position away from Jordan Hester. Rogers won back at Castle Gorge. He's currently running 20th in the point standings coming into this evening's race. And he is, as I said, a former winner. So that would be 2 wins and get him a wild card position, as I believe we can safely say the first wild card spot is going to go to Poteet because he is actually still running on the racetrack even though he is off the lead lap. He's picking up positions nonetheless. Silver Fox going to go underneath of Jake Rogers though. Silver Fox, as we said, he now with the good run that he's having tonight and his 2 wins, he's pretty much mathematically going to make the chase for the championship. And Silver Fox would love to be able to pick up a 3rd win this season, which would actually tie him with Sean Galligan for the points lead heading into our first chase race. Right now, though, they're trying to run down Wolfgang Mason, and this is actually a green flag run we're having here. This is rather unusual here at the end. They're keeping it clean and green, and we've got a total of 3 laps to go, 2 to go when they hit the stripe. Wolfgang Mason, last win I believe Wolfgang picked up was last season at Watkins Glen, if I remember correctly. And Wolfgang Mason would love to be able to go to victory lane, which would be his first time here in Season 6. And I think Henley just moved up another spot. He just moved up to 5th. Collard just slipped back to 7th, as both the Masons having good runs. There's the other Mason, Ralph, up in the 6th position right now. The tough thing for both Masons is they are not former winners this season. Neither one of them back to victory lane yet, so they can't get a wild card spot. They can just basically go out there try and win a race. There's Collard. Going to cross the stripe this time. I think it was in 7th place. Right now he still would be inside the top 10 in the point stands mathematically. Alex May up ahead. Wolfgang Mason the leader. And here comes Jake Rogers' machine. As this is the final lap into turn 3. Can Jake Rogers get any kind of run? He'd get a wild card spot if he could win. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Not enough time, not enough ground to be able to close up. Wolfgang Mason is going to win the Caterpillar 300 here tonight, his first win of Season 6. And now it's time to find out who has made the chase for the championship. Now, where did Bob Jones finish this evening's race? He finished it in the 19th position. Where did Henley finish? He finished in 6th place. Henley has taken away a spot in the chase from Bob Jones. And now we got to find out where James McLeod finished this race. When he retired in 29th place. The only driver that could take him out of the top 10 in points would be Bob Jones. So let's see. If he retired in 29th, Bob Jones came into this race a total of 18 points behind James McLeod. So he would have had to have finished in the 11th position or better, which he did not, which means James McLeod, regardless of DNFing, is going to stay in the chase for the championship. And the tough break for Charles Jackson is that Sean Henley finished ahead of him, so Charles Jackson is not going to be able to get into this season's chase for the Mobil1 Cup Series Championship. He was the long shot. He had an opportunity if Henley ran into problems. It did not happen. Henley gets into the top 10. Jackson will not. As a matter of fact, this is the 2nd straight evening that Charles Jackson has missed the chase by just a little bit. That is a tough break for him. But we do know that Charles Jackson has ensured himself a spot in the Snickers Cup Series Chase for the championship, so that's a good thing for him, at least knowing that he will not be left out of all 3 chases. But still, tough break for the Charles Jackson machine. Came in here with a good chance of maybe making the chase in the Mobil1 Cup Series. Our winner from Daytona, doesn't look like it's going to happen. But Wolfgang Mason, for the first time this season, will go to victory lane, so congratulations to him. It's now time to step aside, take a look at our finishing results and points, and tell you who's going to be the 13 drivers to battle it out this season for the Mobil1 Cup Series Chase for the championship. See you in just a minute. Alright, so we'll give you guys time to be able to look at the official finishing results from this evening's event. Wolfgang Mason with the win. Jake Rogers ever so close. If he had been able to pick up that victory, he would have taken the second wildcard spot and made the Mobil1 Cup Series Chase for the championship, but just a little too short. And I'll tell you what, with Wolfgang Mason winning, one driver is going to be especially happy that Wolfgang won, and that's going to be Jordan Hester, because Hester, regardless of DNFing from this evening's race, since he and Dylan Poteet were the only 2-time winners that were outside the top 10 in the points, they are going to get wildcard spots numbers 1 and 2. So as you take a look here, you're looking at your current rookie standings and everything. Now we're going to take a look here at what the points would look like if the chase was not happening at this particular point in time. Take a look here at your top 10. Whoever finished in the top 10 at the end of this race, as far as the standings, they are automatically in to the chase for the championship. This means that Galligan, Navarrete, Dunham, Atkins, Silver Fox, Young, LaPlante, Collard, McLeod, who just barely stayed in, and Sean Henley, who was able to, by 5 points, take away 10th place from Bob Jones in this 10th position in the points. They are going to all transfer into the chase for the championship via top 10 in points. We told you that Dylan Poteet, being the first driver highest up with 2 wins outside the top 10, he's going to get the transfer spot via wildcard spot number 1, and Jordan Hester being the only other 2-time winner in this field. Even though he was 32nd in the point standings, he will also be up in the wildcard position. And then add to that equation Danny Wells, who ended up leading lap number 10 last week at Atlanta. He will be in the chase for the championship as well. You took a look there at the rest of your standings heading into next week. Here is now what it's going to look like as far as the chase for the championship heading into our first chase race. Sean Galligan, the only 3-time winner this season. With those 3 wins, he gets 5 bonus points apiece. He'll have 10-15 on the top of the leaderboard. Then these drivers with 2 wins, Silver Fox, Poteet, and Hester, who both got in via the wildcard spot, they're going to have 1,010 points apiece. Emilio Navarrete, Dylan Young, LaPlante, McLeod, and Henley, who all went to victory lane once time this season, they'll have 1,005. And then Trent Dunham, Atkins, Collard, and Danny Wells, who have yet to go to victory lane, they all have 1,000 points apiece. So there you go, folks. That is the 13 drivers that will battle it out for the championship. And keep in mind, 2 of them are former Mobil1 Cup Series champs. Galligan won last season in Season 5. Trent Dunham won the Mobil1 Cup Series championship in Season 3. Could they try and go for their second career Mobil1 Cup Series championship? Don't know, but there are a lot of drivers that are going to try and knock them off that pedestal and try and place themselves there as champion as well. And how about Megan Atkins? Congratulations to her being the only rookie to make this season's Mobil1 Cup Series Chase. A great thing for her. We'll see what she'll be able to do here as the chase progresses. 10 chase races await us, folks, and at the end of them, one of these 13 drivers will be Season 6 Mobil1 Cup Series champion. Hope that you guys enjoyed this evening's event. Congratulations to those 13 drivers that made the chase for the championship. We're going to find out now next time who's going to make the Snickers Cup Series chase for the championship. It's going to be a very interesting battle there as well. Well, folks, we're done here from the Mobil1 Cup Series event here live at Arizona. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. And we've shown you your official finishing results and standings. So, without further ado, I will say goodbye, everybody. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.